Beautiful. Wa- Wow, wow, wow. I just love that. Derek, what were you thinking when you were watching that?
It's amazing. So I know how that young man felt
Yeah.
when it showed him standing for the first time, being able to walk and to
Tell
move
me,
his legs and
tell me,
control that.
tell me how
So
that felt. Tell me how that felt.
uh, it's indescribable. So physically, it's amazing, but more importantly for me personally was emotionally and psychologically being able to stand and look someone in the eye or any of those sorts of small things are totally incredible.
Yeah, yeah. Be able to, you have a beautiful wife, I see from the pictures, and be able to look at her and hug her and kiss her, standing up. I'm sure that's pretty amazing. Yeah,
Yes,
we
yeah,
couldn't.
it's amazing. My wife is pretty incredible. She's an amazing person, and for me, as I mentioned before, as kind of going through the recovery process, previously I was at the pinnacle of my career. I was 6'2", 200 pounds, just a very active person, and what I didn't realize was that being seated and being in a wheelchair, people would look at me differently. They would treat me differently, and so uh, to be able to regain what I had lost using this technology was pretty incredible.
That is so awesome. Catherine, tell me a little bit about this whole, the technology is incredible because I think I got from the Chris sorry the where's that statistic? It's 1 in 50. The Christopher and Dana Reeves Foundation reports that 5.6 million people, representing 1.9% of the population, roughly 1 in 50 Americans, are paralyzed. So this is a device that can really change a lot for a lot of people. So where did this all start? Who came up with this idea, and what is it taking? And give me a little background.
Absolutely. So our inventor is Amit Gopher, and he's an Israeli scientist. Unfortunately, he himself sustained a spinal cord injury. So this was actually an invention in his garage. It's come a long way since
Wow.
then, and is really, brought to the U.S. in 2011, and 2014 was cleared by the FDA for use for individuals with paraplegic spinal cord injury. And what that means is for people who have use of their arms and hands but are paralyzed from the chest down.
Mm.
So this device provides full support. It has a robotic component, obviously. So there's a set of motors and gears that propel the legs forward. And with training, individuals are able to use this with a companion. So they could use this in their home, out in the community. It's not something that just stays in the rehab center. So the goal is to get them out and walking.
Yeah, I would love to see anybody with a whole lot of money gift one of these to every one of the 50, 1 in 50 people in the U.S. with that. Wouldn't that be awesome? Like who's in that category? There's a couple of billionaires that could
Yeah.
probably do that, right? I'll
There's no
hook you
way.
up.
There's got to be.
Yeah, exactly,
Uh,
exactly. So it is something that people can use and buy. And Christy,
Absolutely.
what so spinal cord injury, you made a couple of interesting things that comments in the car on the way up.
Yeah, I mean, spinal cord injury is one of those injuries that's very common in car accidents. And we were talking as we were driving into the studio today. We all get in our cars every single day, and it's actually one of the most dangerous things we can do.
Especially with an Asian woman driver.
Yeah, she got me here safe and sound, everybody, not to worry. So at any
Only I
rate,
can say that. Sorry.
So at any rate, we, as far as a rehabilitation clinic, we see a lot of patients that have spinal cord injuries because of car accidents. And I mean, it's really traumatic, and they're from all walks of life. I mean, we've got, a gentleman like Derek did what he did to sustain his injury, but we have mothers with spinal cord injuries that were driving their Girl Scout, daughters around to an event. We've had, people off of obviously motorcycles and those kinds of things as a very common way to sustain injuries. There's about 500,000 people in the world that sustain an injury, a spinal cord injury, every annual year. So I think in the U.S.,
500,000.
yeah,
Wow.
the statistics in the U.S. is like 200,000. And so we see patients from, they're either snowboard accidents, one person stepped off a curb, There's pedestrian versus vehicle accidents. There's a lot of texting going on while driving nowadays, and it's not so good for the brain and the spinal cord. So, yeah, it's an unfortunate thing.
That was
sure.
A public service announcement.
Yeah,
Thank
please don't text and drive.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Catherine, what support does the company? You're now publicly traded, or?
Yes. So as of September of 2014, ReWalk is a public company, and we provide a lot of access points for our patients. So, when we first started, we had a couple clinics. Precision was one of them. Now across the US, there's over 100. So therapists have to be trained in this technology, and that has now been accomplished. So there's a lot more access points for individuals to actually be evaluated and to try this. Above and beyond that, we have a reimbursement team. So what's exciting is we're not just waiting for people to donate money, although that's wonderful. We're actually able to go after the VA. The VA has a operating procedure for paying for these for eligible veterans. They have criteria that you have to meet, but that's an option. And then private insurance, workers' compensation, and certain managed plans. We've had over 100 provided by insurance, and among those, 25 are unique payer systems. So
it is so exciting. I mean, to have an alternative to a wheelchair. I mean I mean that's like incredible, and absolutely, it's almost like miraculous to be able to have something like that. And I would love to give your founder a Beneficial Presence on the Planet award, because for him to design this in his garage, talk about the human spirit, and like, I'm not going to just sit with this literally, I am going to design something where I can walk again. I'm still like blown away from that. That's just amazing. Yeah. Now on the healing process. So both of you are therapists, and Derek, you are, you're preaching to your own choir here. What would you say to anyone who is currently feeling, bad about where they are, stuck in a wheelchair, or, not accepting or not, because I do see people who, there's a difference in the healing process. So speak to that for me, because I speak about it all the time. I'd like a little backing. Right. I'd like a little support. So Christy, why don't you start?
Okay. I have to say, one of the things that's pretty fantastic about being able to work with a product such as ReWalk has to do with the beneficiary things that you get just because you're in standing. Like, our bodies were made to stand, and we're a wreck. We're Homo sapiens, so to be sitting in a flexed posture all day long plays a lot of havoc on your systems, whether it's your cardiovascular system, your digestive system, respiration, sort of stretching of muscles and not weight bearing through bones. And so the ReWalk system allows our patients to be able to get those kinds of activities accomplished. So from that standpoint, I really love it. It's a challenging situation in my world because the insurance regime and how that all works is challenging. So it's not, this technology exists, but not everybody has access to it.
Right.
So, patients that, we go through the rehab process, and as they're going through the process, and, whether they have the ability to regain ambulation as a functional potential or not, and then they have other factors that meet qualifications to make it so that they can do ReWalk. What's amazing is that they get to accomplish all those things, the weight bearing through the bones, the stretching of the muscles, the circulation. They get good workouts. A lot of them will tell me, gosh, I haven't been able to sweat like this since I got injured, because it's hard to get your heart rate up to that level, and unless you're some sort of elite athlete, or figure out how you're going to participate in some sort of cardiovascular activity. So from that standpoint, a lot of patients love it.
Great. Derek?
Yeah, so I think emotionally and psychologically, what I've found, having talked to a lot of different people about recovering from traumatic experiences, is that a lot of times people feel alone, but in reality, you're not alone. I believe everybody will be challenged with some sort of trauma or loss or grief at some point in their life, and I think that's really just part of the human experience. Yes. And so what really makes for successful recovery is how you choose to respond to that. done a lot of reading and studying into a certain philosophy called Stoicism. And for me, that was meaningful because ultimately what it came down to was to focus on things that you can control and not on things that you can't.
Beautiful.
So if I were to sit and just focus on all the things I don't have, or, the fact that I'm in a wheelchair, that I can't walk currently without the rewalk, that would totally change my life. Whereas if I focus on the things that I can do and that are in my control and take action, it's totally empowering. And that is one aspect of a small portion of how I've been able to recover. And so I think, again, no one out there is alone. Everybody is challenged, and the real measure of your character is how you choose to respond.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I've viewed my own recovery and what I try to share with people when I discuss it.
That's awesome. I'm going to have to look that up. Stoicism. That's something new.
Yeah, it's an ancient Greek philosophy. And ultimately, it was first written down by a few different philosophers, but one called Epictetus. And he wrote a manual, basically. It's called the Enchiridion, which is literally translates to the manual. Basically telling people just that, my external environment can be influenced by my own actions, but that there's certain things out of my control. And so if I just focus on what I can control, what I can influence, what I can, change,
right,
then I'm empowered to do that. And that's how I've been able to really try to maintain a positive outlook on life.
That's fabulous. That applies to anyone in any situation, really. But especially for someone like you, that's now I understand why you are who you are. That's awesome. Catherine, any comments?
Yeah, I would just say I've seen a couple hundred patients in my own clinical experience and then in the rewalk, and realizing those ups and downs are really natural. And I think you need them because you need that part of the grieving process.
Mm-hmm.
But that can do and push through attitude is really what makes individuals successful, whether it's just with a transfer, going from their bed to their chair, whether it's meeting a larger goal, like being able to walk in a device like this. Right. It's just realizing those naturals up and downs, but being able to be pushing through, to get a positive result.
Yeah, great, beautiful. I'm getting the signal from my fabulous sound engineer / station owner, Tony Sweet, that we need to go on break to thank the sponsors of the show who make this possible. So I will be back in 2 and 2. Peace in and peace out. Okay, jazz lovers, it's time to celebrate life with a Catalina Island weekend getaway with jazz greats like Rick Braun, Richard Elliott, Manhattan Transfer, Take 6, Gerald Albright, and Norman Brown. Don't miss the 31st Jazz Tracks Festival at the beautiful Avalon Casino on Catalina Island 2 weekends, October 12th and 19th. Tickets are selling out fast, so go to jazztracks.com. That's jazztracks with an X.com today. September is National Paralysis Awareness Month and a perfect time to tell you about Rewalk Robotics. Thanks to the creative human mind, the resilience of spirit, and the advances of technology, people who are paraplegic, spinal cord injury can now walk again. For a free phone screening to see if this technology is right for you, please go to www.rewalk.com/contact. That's www.rewalk.com/contact. You can walk again. And we're back, and you are tuned into my weekly talk radio show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon out of the Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, California with UBN Radio TV, Universal Broadcasting Network, and then every Thursday at 7, Saturday at 1 on my syndicated CNBC and NBC News Radio channel, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and everywhere syndicated on iHeartRadio. And today we are celebrating National Paralysis Awareness Month with an incredible invention that has helped a lot of people, and we're hoping by having this promotion episode on the air to help a lot more people experience the joy of walking, that their paralysis does not keep them from looking people in the eye and being able to connect in a way that they did before the paralysis. And we have guests on the air today. We have Christy Smitherin in studio. We have Catherine. Catherine, I lost your Vaughn. Thank you. And she is zooming in from San Francisco. And then Derek Herrera, who is the heroic, inspiring user of Rewalk Robotics, who was injured in Afghanistan, but is now doing amazing things with his life. You actually went to UCLA, got a degree in entrepreneurism, and now you have your own company. Is that correct?
That's correct. I started a company called Spinal Singularity, and we are a seed stage medical device company working to improve the quality of life of people with spinal cord injury.
Yes, and it's through inventions that people who are in situations like yours, are have to live with, and you're trying to make it more comfortable with the catheter. Is that the way I understand?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, I was really inspired and look up to Dr. Ahmet Gopher, the inventor of Rewalk. And so as I was recovering and exposed to this technology, I was able to visit him in Israel at the Rewalk headquarters, and to see what he did, designing this exoskeleton, taking action, understanding that he could change the landscape of mobility and rehabilitation forever. That's one of many examples that's inspired me to start my own crusade or mission to revolutionize bladder management. And so a huge problem that is also accompanying spinal cord injury and other neurological disorders is bladder management. And so obviously if you're paralyzed from the chest down, you lose functions like being able to empty your bladder. And the current standard of care is to use disposable catheters every time you go to the bathroom. And so it's a pretty terrible process. It's expensive. There's a lot of complications like infections and other issues. And so we've designed a product that we think will revolutionize bladder management, and are working now to push it through clinical testing and get it on the market, where we hope that we'll have an impact on people's lives, just like Rewalk has had on mine.
Beautiful. And for anyone who is listening, and I do have a lot of business people, some of my clients who tune in, if you are looking for a product to back, or are you looking for venture capitalists right now?
Not currently. We've raised an initial seed investment.
Okay.
But if people are interested in learning more, they can definitely check out our website. It's spinalsingularity.com.
Beautiful. That's great. And then on the Rewalk Robotics side, how do people, I guess they could purchase stock. That would be one way to fund or help fund. In the commercial, there's a screening point. So I'm guessing anyone who's interested in trials, like if they are currently in a wheelchair and they have use of their arms and hands, they would be prime candidates for qualifying for a screening. Yes?
Absolutely. So anyone that's interested or knows anyone that would be interested, the best contact point is to go to our website, rewalk.com, and then go to the contact tab. And that's where we can learn a little bit more about you. And we have regional teams across the United States. We have some distributors in other countries, a sales team in Germany, a little bit in Asia. So lots of places where individuals can access this technology. The best thing is just for us to get in touch, and you will be hearing from one of us to determine if this is right for you and how to get you to that facility. So we try to facilitate that process so you don't have to do all that paperwork on your own.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Christy?
Yes.
What do you, have you seen this work better on certain kinds of people or not on, give me the...
I mean, definitely for patients who have done a good job of taking care of their bodies so that they don't have, for example, shortened hip flexor muscles. And for people who just overall, they've done well with their strength and ability to transfer and have good functional mobility. Those are the individuals who do really, really well with this product. So when we evaluate somebody to see whether they're a candidate, we're looking at, do they have good hip flexion, range of motion? Do they have good, sort of positioning in their ankles? If they can't get their ankles flat, that causes a little bit of challenges. Patients who have figured out a way to manage their spasticity. So spasticity is it's a result that occurs from damage to the central nervous system.
Okay.
So your muscles turn on and you can't turn that off.
I didn't realize that was a technical term. I thought
Yeah.
that was just like one of those things you get teased about.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
No. Okay.
So spasticity can be good and bad, but the bad side of it would be that it's too great, because if it's too much, if it's really, really strong, it makes it hard to operate the device.
Right.
But the best thing to do is to fully get evaluated. And a clinic like ours could do that. We do evaluations for ReWalk. And if you are a candidate, we will help you arrange kind of the ReWalk demonstration, or the ReWalk experience, as we call it.
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody like Catherine will come down to the clinic and set up a brand new device for you, which is really nice, because historically we had our own ReWalk unit in our clinic. And so we utilize that clinic device. But their technology has changed so much. So now what Catherine will do is she'll fly down with the newest technology. So clients get to come in and try that new technology, which is super great.
And you get front row seats to that reaction when they first stand up, which has
Yeah.
got to be awesome, right?
Definitely. Yeah, we're very much involved in that process. And let's say that a patient does really well, enjoys it, is a great candidate for it. So now they've got to do their training. Then a clinic like us, we would actually do the basic skills training and the advanced skills training. It's part of the FDA requirement. They,
Mm-hmm.
the FDA wants to make sure everybody's going to be safe. And this
Right.
this product is kind of it's a pretty involved product. It's not rocket science, but needs
It
a
looks
little bit
like
of
rocket
training.
science to
it
me.
needs a little bit of training.
That's great. That's great. So if you are listening and you're in Southern California, Precision is in Long Beach. So
Yes.
you can go get taken care of
Yes.
by my friend here. All right. So I always, like, we have a little bit more time. Catherine, was there anything that I didn't cover or you haven't covered specifically about ReWalk that you'd like to mention?
Just wanted to mention that we have some new things on the horizon. So we've acquired some of the intellectual property from Vice Institute, which is out of Harvard. And we recognize that, our product does not address everyone. Obviously, we're looking for a very specific patient with a paraplegic spinal cord injury, and a lot more people out there need help. So this new product is called Restore. And the first clinical indication that we're going for is stroke. So individuals that have sustained a stroke, and it's a soft exosuit. So imagine, just beyond one limb, and there's some nice photos online of it, and it's just starting some clinical testing, and there we go. There's a great picture.
Yay. Tony's so good.
And so I think in this picture, he's wearing a bilateral suit, but it would be one limb. If someone sustains a stroke, it tends to be one leg or the other.
Right.
We'd be able to help those individuals. So that's really exciting for me.
Very exciting. Very exciting. It's like this, you're no longer condemned, if I can say that, to what has happened to you. Right. There's a way to restore and ReWalk. That's so awesome. I'd like to go meet the founder.
It'd be interesting to see with the stroke population how many of those people that are practicing utilizing the product actually get some neurological recovery. Are you guys doing
that's
some clinical
our goal
trials?
to learn that over the next year or so.
Yeah,
Wow.
that'd be really interesting.
That would be so cool. Absolutely. Derek, was there anything else that you would like to share about the experience?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure being on the show today. So nothing else to add except that if you know anybody that's interested, I strongly recommend and advocate that you do some research and look into exoskeleton technology. I can't say enough positive things about the staff from ReWalk, everyone from the CEO, Larry, all the way down to the lowest technician. They're pretty amazing people, and they all have really one mission in mind, which is to help you have a great experience walking again. And so it's definitely not for everybody, as Christy and Catherine both mentioned, but it's worth looking into. And when the time is right and when you're ready to take that step,
Mm-hmm.
there's really, you shouldn't feel nervous about reaching out to them, because just some of the most incredible, amazing, supportive people that are involved with this company that I've been exposed to.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So the last thing I always do on every show is ask my guests who they would like to thank and be grateful to on the air, because we know that it is all those who are supporting us that allow us to be the people that we are. So I'll start with Catherine. Who would you like to be grateful to?
Absolutely. My first thanks is for Christy for drinking enough at your sailing. Suggest such an idea. I'm glad we have this opportunity, and I think awareness is the biggest goal for us right now, because this technology has come a long way, but not everyone knows about it.
Absolutely.
So we need more people to know about it.
Absolutely.
Outside of that, I'm just always thankful for the support of my family and my friends.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And Christy?
To be honest with you, I have been super lucky in my career, and I've been, living in Long Beach and supported by the community. So we have a group of physicians that have been very, very supportive of us, rehab associates. And so, I'd have to say I'm very thankful for our community. It's been great for our practice.
Yeah, and your favorite sailing buddy.
Yeah, my favorite sailing buddy for sure, hands down. And of course my family and husband and children and all those guys.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And then last but definitely not least, Derek, who would you like to thank?
I'm thankful for you hosting this show, Dr. Marissa, but most importantly, I want to thank my wife.
What is her name?
Her name is Maura, and she's an amazing woman.
Beautiful.
She's been the bedrock of my recovery, and also new mother to our twin boys. So I have two 1-month-old boys who she's at home with, probably taken care of now, and so my family. I'm thankful for them.
That is so good. What are the twins' names?
Hudson and Hunter.
Hudson and Hunter. That is so awesome. Yeah, I didn't want to get too personal to see if you can have children, and I'm happy to hear that you can, and you have not just one but two twin boys. That's so awesome. That is so awesome. And I totally wish you and see you in so much success in all of your endeavors. I wish you had been my student. I actually taught at UCLA in the Anderson School for 6 years, but I think you were in the executive program. I was just in the normal program, so I didn't get you as a student. But I'm so proud and so grateful to have gotten to know you because of the show. I absolutely, anytime you want, if you need anything, reach out to me, and I will do my best to promote whatever you want, because you are like my favorite kind of guest. Sorry, not Christy and not Catherine, but I love you both. But Derek is such a fabulous example of people that go and they get, black bananas and they make the best tasting banana bread out of them. And that you really do embody what I think it means to be alive and fully alive. And I am grateful to have crossed paths with you. So thank you so much, Derek, Catherine, Christy, for coming on and sharing a lot of hope and happiness here. All right, and it is towards the end of the show. I would like to invite you to step up to my balance bar. And my little, wait, there it is. It's the time when I invite you to come and join me to balance with a number of different activities. One is my infamous 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa. Yes, if you can not complain for 21 days in a row, you will make a lot of people around you very happy. Also including yourself. And you will also win if you register on my website, the number 4balance.org, and say, I want to join the fast. You complete 21 days. Every month we start on the 1st. Then you get a prize, and it's my pack of motivational cards called 52 Card Pick-Me-Ups, Stacking the Deck for Life Balance. And 3 women have already done it. Men, I don't know what's up with y'all if you cannot not complain about women. But please do try. And we are on day 5 today. So the balance tip for day 5 is if the grass looks greener on the other side, water your own lawn. When I hear myself complain with envy, I have a choice: to be green or to make a choice to change my own landscape. But the commitment to change can only come from you, starting with your eyes on your own yard. And don't forget to sign up to get my the app. It's only 99 cents on both stores, created by teenagers, so it will help you not only stop complaining, but it will help you post and be competitive on Facebook with your non-complaining days. And I've been invited back to do a keynote, this time in Florida, for the CEO Space International #1 Forbes and Inc. must-attend business conference. I'll be doing my most asked for speech called Jump Off That Hamster Wheel into Balanced Living. So if you're ready to come out of your entrepreneurial closet and join me there, sign up at www.welcome.ceospaceinternational.com/Dr. Marissa. Or if you are listening and you're in charge of finding speakers for your event, hit me up for that speech. And November 4th, I've just been invited to speak and maybe even sing at Soldiers Field in Chicago. Yes, I will be going there for an event called Journey's Dream. It is a highlight event to help support mentally ill and how to support their recovery. And for those of you who don't know, I spent 2 years as a project manager at Hillview Mental Health Center, and it was the 2 most important years of my life, because there's nothing like understanding the fragility of our human mind from health and non-mental health. So very, very much, if you would like to sponsor, they're looking for entry-level sponsors right now. It's November 4th, so journeysdream.org. Finally, if any of you have heard something today that resonates, please do support my guests, rewalk.com, as well as Spinal Singularity from Derek, or Precision Rehabilitation in Long Beach. And you can find me on drmarissa.tv if you'd like to have a little more balance, hope, and happiness in your life. I'm giving out free coaching spots now on the air and also on the beach. So please do contact me for that. Finally, Asian Oprah giveaway for today. It is a pass, any of the day passes the second week at jazztracks.com. Catalina Jazz Festival, one of my great sponsors. If you'd like to go, fabulous music. I'll be covering the event 2 weekends in October. Go to jazztracks.com. Pick out which show you'd like to go to and be the first one to go to my website, the number 4balance.org, and say Jazz Tracks, and you will get that free up to, I think it's $300 tickets to the Jazz Tracks. Next week, it is that time of the month. Yep, it is Call-ins with Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And I'm here to help you balance your life tires and smog check your stinking thinking. So get ready next week for anything from relationships or the other one, or anything to do with your health and well-being or job and career. That's here, so keep it tuned to take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa Pay. That's P for positive, EI, and remember, it's all about balance. Peace in and peace out.
If you're getting older and concerned about any of the following, stay tuned for a free bottle offer. Do you